tonight's live match between Inter Milan and Auxerre. It's a packed house here, 35,000 people in Sicily, and they've all turned out amid the Christmas festivities to see this man, the world's greatest player of this moment in time, Ronaldo of Inter Milan. The Serie A campaign, which closed for Christmas on the 19th of December, resumes this weekend with the biggest game of the season so far. Current leaders Inter Milan plays second place Juventus. And so with this clearly in mind, coach Luigi Simoni will use this match to reintroduce his squad to the rigours of competitive football and to run off some of that festive fare they've been enjoying for the past 9 days or so. For the people of Palermo, it's a big night as well. They rarely, if ever, get to see top-class football here these days. The demise of the South could still be further heightened should Napoli, the nearest Serie A side to Sicily, fall into Serie B this year, leaving the nearest southern side in the top flight being Rome. So they've turned out then tonight, not surprisingly, in their thousands, filling this stadium to capacity. Now the French side here this evening of Auxerre. And France have supplied 2 teams this season which have upset Inter Milan. Olympique Lyon became the first side to beat them in any competition when they beat them at their home leg of the UEFA Cup. They were then beaten by Strasbourg a few weeks later. And the trophy there is being presented by the mayor of Palermo, Leoluca Orlando, as a gesture of thanks from the people of Naples for bringing their side here, and specifically him tonight to play in this game. Leoluca Orlando, more famously known for running the gauntlet against the mafia in this particular part of the country. The world's greatest player just received the FIFA award, World Player of the Year. He's also had the World Soccer Player of the Year from the World Soccer magazine, which he's won for 2 years in a row. This time, this year, by an even wider margin than the first year he won it, polling over a quarter of all votes cast. And the Golden Boot, of course, was for finishing Europe's top scorer last season. We're looking here at a full-strength Inter Milan side tonight as well. Well, it's often the case, as I'm sure you can see, that the cameramen are so entranced by the presence of this particular man that they're barely able to recognize anywhere else, and everywhere the camera goes you can be sure that the famous number 10 shirt will follow. The Milan side tonight, including Pagliuca in goal, Bergami playing sweeper, 3 central defenders, Taribo West, Galante and Sartor in the middle, Aaron Winters, Elias, Moriero and Cauet out wide on either flank. And the front pairing, Ronaldo. And we're looking around to see if we can see Djorkaeff. We can't see him at the moment. And for Auxerre, they will line up Charbonnier in goal, Guivarc'h, Danjou, Silvestri, Rabrivni in the middle of the field. The immensely talented Lamucci, Laschuer, wide on the left, Diomeda, Guivarc'h, the striker at number 9, Denyo at 18. We will hopefully as well get a chance during this game, as I'm sure there'll be substitutions made to see Steve Marley, a great little winger, who was fallen out of favour recently. Auxerre currently lying just outside the top 5 in the French First Division. It's not been a totally consistent season, but it's often difficult for this club, which are run, of course, by the legendary Giroud. They often, at the end of every season, have to sell their very best players, and this season was no different to any that's gone before. Out went Lilian Lasland. and Moussa Saïb as well, and getting the game underway. Cheers and smiles all around, and this is how seriously they take football in these parts, turning out in such huge numbers to see this friendly game. Taribo West, of course, formerly of Auxerre. And the first stoppage and free kick of the night. Honed by the master coach Giroud was Taribo West. And will certainly be seen inside the World Cup this year as well. Looking to get that ball up forward to Ronaldo on the edge of the penalty area, this time intercepted. Adam Winter out wide by the touchline. That's possession Auxerre's way. And you would think that the noise that this crowd are making, that this is a home game. Christian Henner, number 6, getting into a bit of bother. As 7 is Lamouchi. That's a lovely ball through by Lamouchi. And West using his huge physical presence to hold off Thomas Denyo. So we're still picking up a few players here. There were no confirmed lineups from the beginning. This will be taken by Lacheur. And way over the top by Christian Henner. Of course, so far the season has brought nothing but success for Inter Milan. They're lying on top of Serie A. But they've failed to convince everybody of their quality. Some of the media. The Zanetti, number 4. And that pass a little too short. The French certainly aren't taking any prisoners out there and getting really stuck in here. Only 2 minutes gone, and it really does feel like it's a cup tie of sorts, this. Cauet making space wide on the flank. West is making his way up as well on the flank, looking at the overlap, but that's going to be a free kick. And that is in the Ronaldo zone. Foul on Fresi, and as you would expect, over the ball, Ronaldo. Here he comes, round the wall and straight into the arms of Charbonnier. Clear the wall. Again, Milan getting stuck in the middle of the field. Needs no introduction. This is Ronaldo one-on-one. Dances one way, then the next. Oh, what a start! What a start by the Brazilian. Absolutely fabulous stuff. The crowd are going absolutely wild. It doesn't matter what side you support. When this guy's on the field, that's all you want to see him do. 1 against 1, there's only one winner. And Ronaldo opens the scoring after literally 3 minutes. Frank Silvestri certainly is not an inexperienced defender, but he was made to look like a pure amateur. Step one way, then the other. You just don't know which way he's going. What a start. Gomar. And, are they in the mood for a real celebration tonight? Well, certainly on our team list, number 11 is Kanu, and it certainly isn't him. It's Benoit Cauet, as you can see from there. There's a man again, Ronaldo in the middle of the field. This time the pass is a little too short. Cut out by Silvestri once more. They'll just want to try and quieten things down just a little. Lamucci often plays a little further forward than that, but certainly the director of operations in the middle of the field for Auxerre. And off of Raborivini. Winter back to Pagliuca. Took one step too far, almost lost possession of the ball right in front of Guivarc'h. Djorkaeff with the new slimline figure this season. He was criticised a bit last year for he might be carrying a little excess weight. He's certainly carrying a little less hair these days. Winter going in, getting hard in there on top of the ball. Ronaldo makes a run through the middle. Adam Winter again. This is Ronaldo. Zanetti. And again, all the shape has disappeared from Auxerre. They're just chasing shadows at the moment. Zanetti. Djorkaeff trying to peel out wide. Ronaldo's going to make a move out there now. Here he is, 20 yards out, edge of the penalty area. Ronaldo, one in front of him again. He's round one. Looks for the penalty. It's going to drop to, well, Ronaldo, more importantly, is down, feeling his knee. It was Benoit Cauet's shot. Not the necessary power to trouble Charbonnier. Now this would be a real shame if he had to disappear off the field of play, and he just stubbed his boot there. I think he even confused himself as to which avenue he was going to take into the penalty area. Now they certainly aren't going to be looking too disappointed if they see him off. Out comes the Ralgic spray on instant relief, and I hope that we can get him back into the game. Of course, there's no Maurizio Gantz these days to partner Ronaldo up front. Surprisingly, he moved off to Milan. Well, they're going to be taking absolutely no chances with this man. Any semblance of an injury, they certainly don't want to lose him for the huge game on Sunday between Milan and Juventus at the San Siro. He's back. All is well. 8 minutes gone. And here's the man whose goal separates the two sides. It'll be interesting to see if he counted how many times we've used his name so far during the commentary. So often he's been involved in play. 18 there, Danjou once again, finding some space, but he's not finding an awful lot of room on the touchline. Gomar. 7 is Lamucci. 6, Henna. Milan closing down well in the middle of the field, and again, the ball doesn't make it up to the edge of the penalty area. Helped on and away come Milan once again. This is Giuseppe Bergomi. Into his 30s, he's still got such heart and appetite for the game, Bergomi. A real lesson to some of the younger. Now, inside the penalty area, oh, what a wasted opportunity that. But again, he's like a magnet, Ronaldo, attracting everybody around him when he gets hold of the ball. He was looking a little gingerly there, toward the knee. This is Guivarc'h. A sloppy ball that by Guivarc'h. Benoit Cauet is back quickly. No problems for Pagliuca. As I was saying earlier on, they've not impressed everybody so far. Inter Milan, they may be top of the league, but the press only appreciative of the efforts of Ronaldo, but they say without him little else is working. And certainly a surprise for many. Oh, that was a sloppy pass. Now through the middle, Rabarivini. And Guivarc'h was in space there toward the edge of the penalty area. And just getting a little too confident. Now, Namucci's a fairly accurate striker of the ball, but we're a bit too far away. Auxerre. And that looks like it could possibly be Ronaldo's replacement, even this early on in the game. Streaking through the middle goes Ronaldo once again. This time, 6 is Djorkaeff. Tries to cut inside, but that was good covering defensive play. And certainly Henna has got a real job on there tonight. They're so fluid in their movement at the moment in Milan. Djorkaeff again, 25 yards out, will try one, and it's taken a deflection, I think, on the way past Charbonnier's goal. And Djorkaeff making space for himself, it did. It should be a corner. And it's where he's most dangerous, Djorkaeff, cutting inside to get onto the right foot. Taribo West making his presence felt in toward the near post. It's cleared everybody, and it's going to be a free kick. Ronaldo's having fun. Guivarc'h certainly as well will be using this game to get his side back into a competitive frame of mind. But I don't think perhaps the players imagined that it would be quite as competitive as the game that we're seeing. That's Benoit Cauet, of course, came from France in the closed season from PSG. Probably known to many English followers of the game for a fantastic game he played against Liverpool. And trying to lob the keeper. And a brave attempt by Moriero. And Moriero just taking a bounce on the ball. Moriero, one of the reasons why Maurizio Gantz, who we were talking about a couple of moments ago, left. He was actually attached still to Milan and down injured. Danjou. The swap deal that took Gantz across to AC Milan meant that they gave up all rights to Moriero, now fully fledged Inter player. And a good deal, I should imagine. That's Henna getting tied up. And the French are clearly rattled here at just how seriously this side is taking this game. Milan, West, that's the game back underway. 6 is Djorkaeff, looking for Aaron Winter. Cauet makes space in the middle if he can find him, but Winter going too far toward the touchline, losing possession now. The wasted piece of possession, Djorkaeff, nice touch. This time, Auxerre packing the middle of their own half and picking up the loose ball. Lamouchi. West just temporarily out of position. Elias. Again, lovely turn. Really in the mood for the game tonight is Djorkaeff. This is Ronaldo. Cauet's flick and touched on, or Moriero's flick rather, touched to Charbonnier. Rabarivini. And back across to cover is Colonnese. Sartor, number 2. And Ronaldo is off the field of play to be replaced by Ivan Zamorano. Well, what a contribution in 16 minutes. A real shame he's departed the field of play. But they are taking absolutely no chances, and rightly so. This is a friendly. The real business begins again on Saturday as the ball flights into the arms of Pagliuca. Now we've got another real maverick on the field here, Ivan Zamorano. He's had a really disappointing time of it this season. Scoring just 1 goal in Serie A. He's not an automatic choice, but he should certainly get more of a show with the departure of Mauricio Gantz. Nice flick through by Moriero, but that's no free kicks, as the referee. The famous bobble-hatted face of Giroud. So many of France's great players over the years have, at some time of passing during their career, passed through the watchful eye of a real master coach and tactician, Giroud. There's one of them, Taribo West. 11 is Benoit Cauet. First contribution to give away a free kick, Ivan Zamorano. And it was, when the game was first muted, many of the South Americans were supposed not to be coming, but they were all dragged back from all corners of the globe to play in this game tonight. Serie A defeat of the season so far for Inter Milan came surprisingly at Udinese, losing 1-0 on the final weekend of the season before the Christmas break, and that's what has had critics wondering about just how good this side really is. And we're going to get a reasonable attempt at finding out here tonight. That was Aaron Winter. It's going to drop straight to Elias. The other South American tries to curl one in onto the head of Zamorano. That was a trip on the edge of the penalty area. Maintained his feet really well, but it's scrambled clear by Guivarc'h. And away come Auxerre. Chance for a quick break. Lecher, oh, he's too slow on the ball though. And the Italians wanting to put on a show. The French have been well, happy to make up the numbers so far. This is Lamouchi. 2 is Guivarc'h. And does well, Guivarc'h, to get inside one. He was never going to get past the second, though. Fresi. slipping away from Djorkaeff, who really stretched for the ball though there. Zamorano finds Moriero. Again, this is good play by Sartor. Plenty of space in front of him. He can get the ball across. Touch back to Djorkaeff, and there's few that are better from those distances when the ball's dropping onto his right foot. The 29-year-old this time just sending the ball wide of Charbonnier's right-hand post. Coming up into the midway point inside the first half, still the team separated by the wonder goal of Ronaldo after just 4 minutes. Number 4, this is Fresi. Forward this time for Auxerre. It was Lachet. And again, little chance of that finding its intended target of Guivarc'h. That was a good challenge though. 4 blue shirts around, including that of Sartor. It's almost this area of the country, as we were talking before the game, like another country, and it's such a shame that they don't get a chance to see more often than they do first-class football. Swung into the penalty area, almost onto the head of Guivarc'h then. And those of you who are watching Eurogoals on a Monday evening will have seen him attack balls like that with a high degree of success on many occasions so far this season. 6 is Henna. This is Guivarc'h. Taribo West closing in on his marker once again. This is Danjou. Again, just trying to settle into a pattern at the moment, Auxerre, but they're being denied space in the opposition half, and there's not enough movement being made by either the midfield or the front pair to warrant any success at the moment. Time for a few of the party tricks. This is Moriero. Bundled to the floor, was he? No, the referee says play on. And Moriero will get up and have another go. And this time it's possession via a throw into Auxerre. Talk about the limited resources, but they did so well to win the League and Cup double just a couple of years ago. Fantastic achievement for this side now. Through the middle comes Cauet. Such a tricky play with the ball at his feet. A real handful. Djorkaeff trying to flick it through, finding Zamorano. Zamorano is in there. That's Taribo West trying to get the ball across into that danger area. Not quite making it this time. They'll have another go. There's Elias. That's not the best of clearances either. It is Lachet. Again, getting it all sorts of bother in the middle of the field. Lovely ball into the middle by Djorkaeff. Oh, almost found a way through then to Zamorano. And well, a very good piece of defending that was indeed by Frank Silvestri. All the experience needed there to get his face in the way of the ball. Not a spare moment of dull play during this game at all. Elias once again trying to get the ball across that 6-yard area. This is West. West inside, not fooling Guivarc'h though. Now there's some space. Guivarc'h needs support, looking for Almeida. This is Almeida, and a good covering challenge by Fresi. There was lucky he didn't actually connect with his hands, otherwise that had penalty written all over it. Getting the ball deep to the far post. Space there that time. And Guivarc'h We've seen little of Antoine Sibierski so far during this game, and he's a rare talent in the French league, Sibierski. There's confirmation of the score, 25 minutes gone. It's been all Milan, though, during this opening 25. 21 is Zamorano. Moriero. Quick feet that time by Djorkaeff to get away from his marker, but the finishing ball wasn't the required standard. Again, another player that's often criticised for his contribution to games, but he started off this evening charging around all over the field. Colonnese just happy to see the ball downfield for the moment. And returned by Danjou. Another player down injured. Indeed, it is Adam Winter, Dutch international. Spent some time with Paul Gascoigne, of course, over at Lazio. He's a quiet, accomplished performer, this player. And often goes unnoticed. He's not full of the skill of the likes of the Bergkamps and the Kluiverts. In this case, the Ronaldos and the Djorkaeffs, but his contribution is still noteworthy. And again, it looks as though we may have another substitution. So look with this eye on the game at the weekend. Coming up at half-time, by the way. We'll be able to preview that game. We'll hear from the likes of Didier Deschamps, Zidane, along with Djorkaeff, and indeed Winter is going off in a preview as we look forward to that game. Coach Gigi Simoni, former Napoli coach, and as we said, somewhat of a surprise. He's never won anything of major note, but what he has done is he's kept sides in the top flight. He's got no fewer than 5 different. He's been promoted 5 times with various clubs that he's been in charge of. So knowing how to get the best out of your players is certainly one of his qualities. Sure we actually mentioned his name earlier on. Indeed we did, but that was at the beginning of the game. And we were slightly lacking in a confirmed lineup, so our apologies for that. But Zanetti is on the field of play now, and that is all that matters, and he's on for Adam Winter. So no Ronaldo and no Adam Winter. If you're just joining us, Inter Milan lead here in Palermo tonight by 1-0. The goal scored after 4 minutes, and it's something that we will see again at half-time. A wonderful effort. But here there could be more danger for Auxerre. 7 is Moriero, looking to find space. Can he get the ball across now? Does really well, just couldn't get underneath the ball. Again, showing great pace, Moriero. 6 is Henna. Guivarc'h tried to make the run, but going with him was Colonnese. And consequently, they've got to come back and go across field to try and find a way through. Gomar. 8 is Lachey. Well, all rather embarrassing for Lachey. just a couple of moments ago with Moriero jumping the challenge. And I think he thought the ball had actually gone out of play. Not the best kick by Pagliuca. 7, Lamucci looking to find Guivarc'h in a bit of space here. Guivarc'h, West is out of position slightly. Again, everybody in a blue and black stripe shirt, very quick to close down the man on the ball. And I don't know if they're on some sort of performance bonus here tonight, but I don't think I've quite seen such a competitive performance in a friendly match before, ever. Now, 18, Danjou. Once again, they've got to go back. Fairly anonymous first half an hour from Auxerre. If he's looking for pointers, Guivarc'h, as the French to get their season underway again. So he's found too many, apart from the fact they wouldn't live in the same ballpark as a side like Inter Milan. This is Guivarc'h. Again, lazily slung a boot in the direction of the ball, and it finds West. Now West is off on one of those runs with huge long strides of his, getting down the flank. Has he kept the ball in play? No, he hasn't. More's the pity, because the defence had opened up in front of him, but the crowd really appreciating again. The last time Palermo was in the Serie A, which is the side they're currently in Division 3, was in the early 70s. So you can see why any top-class football action is soaked up here. Again, just casually given away once more. Milan will accept the challenge, and this is Djorkaeff. Was Cauet coming for the ball, those final for Djorkaeff. There's 3 here, there's a real chance for a goal here. Oh, just fallen a little too far forward of the right boot of Djorkaeff. But again, Zamorano holding the play up, taking the defender's attention, and Djorkaeff with the run through the middle. 4, this is Silvestri. Loche swapping flanks for a moment, trying to find the ball. That was a full-blooded challenge by Colonnese. It's just the spring in the step of this Inter side. Maybe they realise they're halfway toward their first Serie A championship, maybe since 1989, the last time they won. It's been a particularly productive past few years. The middle again now, making ground into the penalty area comes number 18, who is Danjou, and 3 blue shirts there. It's Ronaldo. Probably the best news for everybody else on the planet in soccer is by the time the World Cup comes around, if there was any justice, then he would be really very tired. Fresi, lovely ball by Fresi, looking to try and get Moriero. Moriero's round his man. Zamorano's in the penalty area, couldn't get a ball across though. He's down, clutching, it looked like his chin. But again, such a busy little player, Moriero. Now, at the other end of the field, Guivarc'h is in space, but once again, the quality of the ball into the 6-yard area was poor. Elias is the referee. Elias, not seen too much from him so far this evening. Ten minutes to half-time. Scudetto looks to be a real two-horse race between Inter and Juve. Juve yet to lose so far. Now, here he goes again, Moriero. Zamorano peels off into the centre. Djorkaeff's there through the middle. If he can get the ball through to him, he does. Djorkaeff, Zamorano's free. Here he is, 2-0 shot. Oh, wonderful save by Charbonnier, and it's still not there. And Moriero diving in at the far post, just couldn't attach a boot. And again, they just carved open the Auxerre defence. As if it were a practice game. Zamorano really should have made that 2-0. But that was a very good save by Lionel Charbonnier. And the follow-up shot by Benoit Cauet, and that was Moriero right on the post. Just at the death, couldn't get his foot to the ball. But top marks going to keeper Charbonnier. Certainly if Coach Jacquet is watching this performance or watching throughout the season, he's playing very well indeed. And first choice Lamar has only just gone to West Ham United and has not played a full season now. The other end of the field of play, Guivarc'h is making his way into the penalty area now. 7 there was Lamucci. And that's the best that Guivarc'h can manage. Always looking tremendously unruffled, Gigi Simoni. He's surprised many this season, Guivarc'h, with his goal exploits. Because he's had to replace Lilian Lasland, the target man in this French side. The thought was there, but it was telegraphed, that pass. 15, Zanetti. And again, good first touch and control by Djorkaeff. If they've overindulged on the Christmas fair, certainly doesn't look like it in this first 37 minutes performance here tonight. Djorkaeff turning one way and the other, trying to outfox Gomar. And succeeds in winning a throw, which Moriero will take. Djorkaeff goes short. It's taken 2 players to hustle the ball away. Lamucci on the chase is Cauet. Lamucci tries to take the return with a back flick and just a little too intricate in the middle of the field, and it's a throw to Auxerre. Well, intercepted by Zamorano. Is Elias. This is West. Close down, has to go back to Fresi. 5, Colonnese. 15 is the substitute for Winter, Zanetti. They've just quieted things down a little, and not surprisingly so. Moriero. Colonnese's ball forward. Zamorano on the turn. Looks to the referee. Wins the free kick. Brought to Inter Milan by Roy Hodgson last season, during his 1 season in charge. Took them to the UEFA Cup final, of course, when they lost against Schalke, who incidentally they play in the next round, believe it or not, in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Cup. Now, defending to be done here. Cauet looking to find space and room. West is even buzzing around in there, looking to try and get in on some of the goal action. That sums up the half really for Auxerre. Moriero, Sartor, Moriero just stop by the hand. The referee has taken out he has taken out a yellow card. Not even the first one into the book tonight. It's like a handball rather than anything more sinister. Djorkaeff's kick, looking for Fresi. Djorkaeff. Fresi's continued his run. He's in space. Can he get it back inside? Zamorano's come close. Oh, what a goal! What a fabulous strike for number 2 for Milan. Oh, Fresi won't score many better than that during his career. The firecrackers go off. Just look at that control once with the left, but bang in with the or control with the right and banged in with the left. It was a wonderful strike. The vision provided by Djorkaeff to see the run of Fresi and Charbonnier. That was well, unstoppable. Zamorano had almost made him take the chance, because he'd come to the near side of the 6-yard area and made it almost impossible to find a pass. 2-0. 2 fabulous goals in what so far has been a very, very good game indeed. And they want to turn it on now. Colonnese. Zanetti. Zanetti again, round 1. Zamorano's there on the back post of Djorkaeff, and he's done that so many times. Bring the ball down well, but this time it just came off the shin. And the Frenchman will be responsible, of course, for running for success for the national side in the World Cup next year. Simply one deficiency in the French side, the lack of a real proven goal scorer. And it's shown here tonight as well. Lamucci's ball through the middle. It's going nowhere apart from toward Pagliuca. And the 37,500 people inside this stadium are loving every minute of this. As the wave goes around the ground, they've actually sold 28,000 tickets for this game before kickoff tonight. And there was walk up to the gate as well. Now, this is Benoit Cauet. Look at a handball, and it's a penalty. And we'll need to get a better look at that. And let's just check it up here. Well, it was absolutely blatant by Christian Henner. Well spotted by the referee. And I doubt there was any other intention but just to stop Cauet getting in a strike on goal. But look at that for first touch. It's just a delight to watch. Djorkaeff doesn't miss penalties against Felagudrium and Charbonnier. This for 3-0. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, he's going to roll it in, as he know. And that's what you get for being cocky. Pat Charbonnier on the head. 1 minute before half-time. Well, he's not smiling. He's been in fabulous form in this half as Charbonnier, but just look at that. It is only a friendly, but the cheek of it. And he was sussed out there by Charbonnier. Showing some great agility in his upper body, because he was actually sat on the floor. Great stuff. And this is probably more entertaining than any Serie A game you've probably seen in between August and Christmas so far, if you're a watcher. Maybe a little less technical. And for the first time, sidestepping Taribo West was Thomas Denio. West recovering. And Cauet. 15 is Zanetti. Sartor. Moriero begins the run. And just a little too far in front. Into injury time, which there'll be a couple of minutes at the end of the first half. But you can just taste the atmosphere inside this stadium tonight. And that is the half-time whistle. The end of a thoroughly entertaining first half, which was begun with the brilliance of Ronaldo. He only lasted 15 minutes, but during that time, for those of you who haven't seen him for a while, a great taste, and it was finished. Very warm welcome back to Palermo. The sides just making their way out after the half-time break. Inter Milan lead by 2-0. And two very good goals they were indeed. Ronaldo opening the scoreline, or the scores rather, after 4 minutes. And that was followed just a couple of minutes before half-time by a thunderous strike by Fresi. We expect that there will be a few substitutions during this second half, as both sides look toward the resumption of their respective league campaigns. Milan then topping Serie A, 30 points after 13 games, losing just the once against Udinese. And Sunday is the big game in Italy against Juventus, playing second on 29, who failed, or sorry, who haven't been defeated so far this season. Certainly, it's been a successful season so far for the coach Simeone. After the disappointments of last season and losing in the final of the UEFA Cup, certainly this looks like the best chance that they've had in this decade to end the 9 years of wait since 1989 and lift the Scudetto and get the place back in the UEFA Champions League for next season. And don't forget, they're still going in Europe as well, as are Auxerre, who face Lazio in the quarter-finals. And you will, of course, be able to follow the fortunes of both of these sides in the coming months on Eurosport on the respective European nights. And we have known that there is one substitute on at the moment. Marco Branca. And there's another one, Diego Simeone. So then, Milan get this second half underway, and if it's anything near as entertaining as the first one, then the 45 minutes will fly by. And there's another one, Nicola Berti. So we're picking these up as we go along. And there's another one, 20 is Recoba. So all change for Inter. We look to get either a high stud then from Christian Henner. And Pagliuca off for a rest. Mazzantini brought in new at the beginning of the season. We get a taste of some of the action. Recoba. And 30 yards or so out. Charbonnier has been in fine form though. The way things have been going this evening, it's been the spectacular that's been making. Here he comes, Recoba with it, kills it around the wall. Charbonnier is there, gets down well. It took an awkward bounce that just in front of his face. Always difficult to deal with. Arrived from Nacional Montevideo in Uruguay, that's about in the summer. And again, he's been more of a squad player so far, but an impressive one when he's come on. 13 is Djorkaeff, cuts inside one, and that was Colonnese. And they're all going down at the moment, and perhaps it's a little too eager in this second half, but Guivarc'h is taking a bang on his calf, it looks like. And certainly it will almost be definite that he will leave the field of play. It's another look at that free kick. Look at the bounce right in front, and Charbonnier did well. And Lionel Charbonnier, a great chance of making it into the French side for the World Cup. There is Marco Branca. Currently, Lamar, of course, is out of sorts and playing anywhere he can get a game. That currently is in England as hired help due to the absence of Ludek McCloskey. But otherwise, the French keeping post is held by Revaux of PSG, who's had an absolutely dire time in the Champions League in some games, especially against Bayern Munich. He gifted chances away. Now getting stuck in. Number 27, Branca. And Zamorano. Being chased by Recoba. This is Guivarc'h. They're just happy to keep possession of the ball at the moment, Auxerre, because when they've given it away, wave after wave of attackers hit them, and they've looked a very poor side. The 7 is Lamucci. They're trying to get players forward, but they just can't find the space because Milan are really covering every blade of grass here. There's not a lot of invention in the off-ball running of Auxerre up front. Sibirski has been a virtual spectator for the whole game. 13 there, another new face for the second half, Fabio Galante. And forward comes Henna. Everybody back though for Milan. Sweeping it across field, looking for Raborivani. It finds 13, Djorkaeff. Raborivani goes on the overlap. Again, plenty way away from the goal. 15 is Zanetti. Diego Simeone. Recoba comes short. It's Djorkaeff. And a little of the sting has gone out of this game that there was in the first half. 2-0 Inter Milan lead, of course. If you've just joined us, Ronaldo and Fresi, the scorers. Almost a chance for Branca to turn his man then from the chest down from Zamorano, but it was intercepted by Lamucci. Lamucci going through the middle, a wall of blue and black shirts, and built up a head of steam, but ran into a brick wall. And that's no problem for Guivarc'h. Charbonnier doesn't want to play games in front of Zamorano, and Zamorano's still there. Charbonnier, is he going to get away with it? He is, and Guivarc'h can avert the danger still further. I don't think an Auxerre player has hardly broken sweat so far in this game. Silvestri forward, and intercepted by Danjou, and a chance maybe for Guivarc'h from this corner. It's Torretta West. Aerial power is something that they do have in plentiful supply. Auxerre, that's delivered near post, but it's cleared easily by West. Back out by Lamucci. But again, good defensive work, not allowing the man on the ball time or space to think about where he was going to place the cross, and consequently the move breaks down and Inter come away with possession. Simeone, another of the summer arrivals from Atletico Madrid. And again, that's a nice turn by 27 Marco Branca. And far on the right. Well, offside, the flag has gone up. It was a tempting run. There's one in the air, so it looked at Zanetti. Seeing a little more of the possession now. Oh, and again a terrible ball by Guivarc'h. And he does well to retrieve the situation though. And in a real head-to-head scrap with Torretta, West comes away with the ball. And very nearly indeed. Cut out well by Silvestri. 6 Christian Henna, 7 Lamucci. Now Jolly is wide. That was going to be a free kick for a high boot there. And the referee just having a word with Galante to calm down a little. In the wall, Nicola Berti. This is certainly within striking range, and indeed it will be struck. It took a deflection and down very well was the keeper. Mazzantini has not been on the field of play long and has done something Pagliuca didn't, which was save a shot in anger. Now, maybe it's the turn of Auxerre to exert some pressure. That's a good delivery. The keeper's fallen. And he fell forward onto the ball and it came out of his hands and it almost dropped to the feet of Sibierski. And now there's a little more invention in the play of Auxerre. And Auxerre gives the ball away. Simeone. 15 here is Zanetti. Zamorano is in the centre. If he can get the ball across, good play by Zanetti. He's being held and just couldn't pull it back in time. Marco Branca also on the back post was unmarked. Just a little over eager to get the ball back in possession, and Javier Zanetti unlucky. But again, good work by Goma, but it was finally the clearance by Silvestri, who's been on hand. Last gasp attempts on a couple of occasions during this game. And it's a little slower, but that's because Milan are now relying on the counter-attack rather than going forward searching. And 6 of 1 really, that. And Milan allowing Auxerre a little more of the ball and a little more territory in which to play in. Not too much, mind you, but a little. (27) Marco Branca. And again, Silvestri sticking to his man like glue and doing a good job, Silvestri, as there was plenty of support there in the penalty area. As the wave begins to reverberate once again around the stadium. Out swinging corner, 3-0. West the scorer. Very poor defending from the corner by Auxerre. Two men face front to goal with nobody in between them. Lovely glancing header. And it was a nice piece of control that by West. It was a difficult ball to control. Zanetti getting the glancing header across. But that was difficult to control. It was high, almost at waist height. And really, with Lamucci on the line, they should have saved it. Goal number 3 for Inter Milan. Tuning up quite nicely for the visit of Juventus to the San Siro Stadium on Sunday. And Silvestri taking it all on his own. This is Djorkaeff. Guivarc'h is there. There's a chance for one back. There was a player unmarked, and it was Diomeda wide there. West was slightly out of position. Now they can break, though. This is Zanetti again. And they've closed down and slowed down. This is Zanetti once more through the middle. Another nice ball right to the feet. And this is Zamorano just over the bar, and it should have been number 4. But another fantastic run, this time Recoba. Just don't have the pace to contend in the first half with Moriero and Sartor, and in the second half Recoba. And the pass from Zanetti was a very good one as well. Ball to feet. And playing with teammates that have the ability that some of these do, it must be pure joy. And no wonder Ronaldo's enjoying himself. Top scorer, incidentally, so far this season, Ronaldo. 14 goals, 9 in the league, 3 in the Coppa Italia, and 2 in the UEFA Cup. 3 is Ravarivini. That was good play by Ravarivini. And again, it bypasses all. Mazzantini collects a knock. Recoba was up there well. Claiming handball. Referee waves it away. Djorkaeff, there goes the wave once again. Well, you could imagine really what it would be like if they had a home side of their own that was doing well. The Italian national side has also been here on several occasions, and you can see why. Such an intimidating atmosphere, and one of the very few stadiums where the crowd are this close to the pitch without a huge running track in the middle. A vociferous crowd, and really do get behind the side. And certainly Zamorano wasn't impressed with the quality that time of what was before. And this is Nicola Berti, and Zamorano was there, but he couldn't get near the ball. His positioning, you could say, is part of his downfall, really. He's not reading. I know it's only a friendly game, but it's been a criticism labelled at him quite often that he doesn't get his share of goals, and he would point to the fact he's not in the side often and long enough. But when he gets on there, his reading of the game isn't the greatest sometimes. And that's Christian Henner. for his Silvestri. And this is Guivarc'h. And Diomeda trying to force his way past West. And he's just getting absolutely no change out of him. And they're so quick when they make these counter-attacks, but that was a good challenge then by Henna. One of the few that's had a good game tonight for Auxerre. And that should be no problem for Fresi, and proves not to be. And clearance wasn't the best, straight to the chest of Rabarivani. Here he is again, Rabarivani. But there's nobody up in front of him, so a hopeful ball cross-field. Spent so much time in the air, the invitation went out to West to get back and defend. Guivarc'h is there, so to Jarret. They just calm it down and away they come. And again, the chase is on. Zamorano is in on the 6-yard area. Marco Branca. Oh, Branca's turning left and right. He should have got rid of the ball by now. The pass was delayed in coming. And it's all fallen apart, really, on this particular move, unless he can get this cross in now. There was always going to be a penalty there, as Recoba was struggling to fight his way through. And Auxerre struggling with Rabarivani to defend it, and almost gave a penalty away. Zanetti chasing back. 27 minutes remaining. This is Lamucci. Nice ball by Lamucci, nice and simple, found the intended target. Jarret, oh, Jarret. Straight over the boot. Zanetti. Diego Simeone. Real warhorse in the middle of the field, Diego Simeone. It's great to see a couple of seasons he had with Atletico Madrid. This is Lachey, nice ball in. Too near Mazzantini. Lachey again. This is Guivarc'h. Lamucci. Again, taking their time. Nobody's making anything much like a creative run off the ball, so there's no options. And they've won a free kick, though. And this might give Lamucci a chance to have a strike on goal here. The referee just having a word, just to quiet a few tempers down. We've not made many changes in this game so far. It's not going to be Lamucci. As always, it takes at least 3 or 4 attempts to get these walls back. If you ever watch Serie A, it's always the case now. Through the middle and wasted. Guivarc'h. I was going to say, they really do know how to try the referee's patience with the wall being back. Fabrice Lepol about to make his way into the play with 24 minutes to go. 3-0 Milan lead. Zamorano. Branca. And continue the run, looking for Zamorano. He can touch the ball wide, and he couldn't get it. just couldn't attach his foot to the ball in time. There was plenty of players in space. At the moment, he seems to hinder the progress of the attacking move rather than anything else. 27 is Branca. Now, break on here for Auxerre. Offering the hand of friendship from Nicola Berti. And on comes Fabrice Lepaul then. Take up a midfield position. And, well, Agbo, so once again, we apologies for that. The squad numbers that we have appear to be all wrong. Milan just taking their foot off the gas momentarily. And the tempo of the game has somewhat dropped. Christian Henner only certainly battled his way through the middle of the field, but he wasn't getting an awful lot of assistance from anybody else this evening, so a well-deserved early bar for him. For is Fresi, scorer of that stunning goal just moments before half-time. Zanetti. And in front of him once again, Diego Simeone. Nothing spectacular from Simeone, but always to the intended target. Of course, as soon as you say that, the move breaks down as Simeone decides to aim a petulant little kick at the ankles. Jarret. Agbo. Intercept Jarret again. It shows how much they view him as a danger, Jarret. There was plenty of field in front of him with nobody much there. Jarret again. He was a Raboriveni. And again, good, solid tackling. Taking all of the ball and nothing else. You didn't want to get in the way of one of Simeone's challenges. A real hard case he is. And tracking back, doing some good defensive work. Covering there is Zamorano. But now, consequently, that leaves nobody upfield apart from Marco Branca. So they'll have to slow it down a little. And they'll find a way through. This is a great piece of play once again from Milan. 27, Marco Branca. And it just fails in the centre circle. Oh, well, a really rather inopportune moment to pan away from the goal. As Mazzantini, certainly a pretty well-built keeper, this. 6'4" tall. As Zamorano and Branca are there, if they can get the ball across goal. And just too high for Zamorano. So Branca, along with Zamorano, between them have just scored 2 goals this season in all competitions that includes the UEFA Cup, the Coppa Italia and the Serie A. Raboriveni, Guivarc'h, Agbo, and again little interest shown by the forwards of Auxerre. Gives us a chance for Recoba, cuts in field this time, and he's taking whatever marker chooses to follow him on a real run around the place. began on the right side, and he's flitted into midfield and across to the left, and you can see him just at the camera shot there, just running all over the place, trotting away with attention of whichever white shirt seems to be in the vicinity. West losing at that time. This is Lachey. Jarre's ball, but again that will find nobody but Galante, who almost conspires to give the ball away. Another look at Giroud. He's, as we said, he's not made very many changes in this game tonight, so obviously there must be a plan at work in the master tactician's mind. And just a reminder, after this game, incidentally, this evening, a very good programme that is worth staying to watch, World Cup Legends, which takes in the great Dutch side of the 70s. So if you've got memories of Johan Cruyff and Neeskens and the like, then a great programme that, and very well worth watching, or even sticking the video on to do as well. Here, though, we've got unfinished business. 3-0 is the score. Inter would gladly accept a couple more goals, and is Mazzantini off his line? No, he's not. Very few arrivals for Auxerre this season, and as we said, they've had to cope with the loss of some of their better players, the likes of Saïb, Laslands, and of course just a couple of years ago they've lost the likes of Laurent Blanc as well. I'm surprised so far that we've not actually seen Steve Marley on the field. I don't know whether he's still actually recovering from injury or not, but he's certainly a player that could give them plenty of options down the flanks. He's very, very quick. Again, space in the middle of the field. Guivarc'h. Jarret had time there. And offside decision. And it's not without other reasons that teams like Inter Milan are visiting areas like this. It's such a huge area, almost like a country itself, of course. And there are huge marketing opportunities down here, especially in the merchandising of kit and so on. So there is method in the reason they're playing here as well, endearing themselves to the locals. Didn't get his required distance there, and he could put them in a little bit of trouble here. Guivarc'h, and that's taken a deflection, but it was a deflection off of a white shirt, so it will be a goal kick. Certainly Lazio will be watching this game this evening to see if they can pick up any pointers. They play, of course, in the UEFA Cup quarter-finals in a few months' time. And another injury which will mean immediate replacement, I'm sure. another look at this. Crushed in the back there, Nicola Berti. And the smile on the face of Simeone. Simply one of the most unruffled-looking managers in Serie A, but then he's been there and seen it all before. That was a good interception by Taribo West. I don't know whether he knew there was Diomeda on his shoulder. Agbo with the throw. Here's Rabarivani, who's hustled and chased this evening. To little avail. 13 minutes remain. And Milan now are just happy to accept the 3-0 victory and allow Auxerre to make foray into their own half. Oh dear. To see if they can actually hit them on the break. And that wasn't, of course, intended. Yeah, he's had a good game tonight. One wonderful stop in the first half. And it seemed almost easier for Zamorano to score. Touched on by Rabarivani. There is again Guivarc'h coming in field. 7 is Lamucci, drifted out of the game somewhat in his second half. Shea, almost a very good ball. The idea was right. It's dropped to Lamucci. He can shoot from here if he gets a chance. And he just doesn't get the chance. Breaking clear, Recoba. The best ball. Lands straight to the feet of Leche. Again, a little too crowded in the middle of the field, but they found a way of somehow maintaining the possession of the ball. This is Rabarivani. 3 across to cover. Djorkaeff, who's been hanging out right on the touchline and being given the ball on very few occasions. Now here's the chance for the break. Just isn't going to find the intended target. And back to Mazzantini, who's impressed in his short spell in as well. Had a couple of saves to make. That's Diego Simeone. Be casting envious eyes maybe. Back across the Mediterranean as his side. His old side, of course, Atletico Madrid doing well. Certainly, if you've been watching Eurosport's coverage of the Cups, you'll know that they've certainly entertained along the way. And they still, Milan may find another way through here. Now Zamorano, that was out of play. Rumours that he would be departing the club after the arrival of Ronaldo. Seemed to be a surplus of strikers, but that's all changed since Mauricio Gantz's move across to Milan. So after running himself ragged for 80 minutes, Reti is on. And Rabarivani has done his night's work. Thirteen is Djorkaeff. Now 1-on-1. Chance for a shot at Mazzantini, but he's not even made to work. Danjou has caused the scourge of a few defences in the French league this year, but he's not having the best of it tonight. This really has been ideal preparation for Simoni getting this team up and running for the weekend. Every single one of them has played their part in this game tonight. Recoba looking to find Zamorano. Once again failing to find him. As they're saying, ideal preparation. And they've all taken this game as seriously as you could expect. And there are places to be played for, and when you've got a squad as big as this, with as much experience and class, and you're not guaranteed a game every week, you take these opportunities as serious as you would a league or a cup game. And that's clearly been evident this evening from Inter Milan anyway. Made his space well, and just couldn't get any purchase on the header. Sandwiched by Fresi and Galante. Zamorano was taken away there, his boot, but the referee said play on, and Zamorano's having a little bit of afters. And he's certainly not known as being anything but full-blooded, possibly a little hot-headed, and that's all a bit of a shame actually, because it was not the fault of Frank Silvestri at all. He's been looking for an argument for a while, Zamorano, and as is often the case when the going gets a little tough and he's not getting things his own way, that's how he reacts. And oh well, we don't know what we've got on going on in here. It must be a relative. He's quickly. Well, I was going to say he was quickly escorted to the bench, but he didn't appear to be too concerned about the fact he's got on there. It was all a bit of a shame, that, because the game has been played in a fairly good spirit, as befits the time of year. Polenghi for West. And another fine performance by Taribo West. A very good buy indeed he was. I was surprised that more clubs weren't interested in his signature at the end of last season. And he hardly looks as though he's drawing breath. He's put in a really big performance here tonight. With a great goal, cross in that time by Reti. And as we said, it's so long since they've seen any great sporting heroes. There's a real opportunity there. And Mazzantini wasn't even made to work. A really disappointing finish that was. That was a great ball in then as well by Lamucci. If you saw the way he got in front of his boot underneath the ball and just hooked it up and over. Inch perfect ball, and it should have been dispatched. And chasing back Galante to do some covering defensive work. So the three goal scorers, two are now off the field of play. And the crowds turned out tonight to see Ronaldo. And Only lasted 15 minutes, and during that time he gave them a goal. But Inter have served up some rich entertainment, especially in the first 45 minutes. It's been a little slower going in the second half, but they've still been in total control of the proceedings here. And on this form, it should be some game on Sunday at the San Siro. (14) Diego Simeone. And back defending, Galante once more. Diego Simeone. And Milan just playing out these final couple of minutes. They might have another pop. The rest of it is crossover on the other flank. This is Marco Branca. And did well to get a cross in. Once again, Zamorano was rather stagnant in the middle. Simeone. 20 is Recoba. He looked such an exciting introduction at the beginning of the second half, but he's drifted very much in field in this second half and has been not quite as effective. Four is Silvestri. And this is Lamucci. Is there to be a moment of glory for the French side? Certainly the defence has worked hard this evening. Of that there is no question. But the midfield has been a little slow now. Polenghi. Five there was Colonnese. The goal scorer, Fresi, making one more attempt to get forward, possibly looking for a second goal. This is Marco Branca. Good play, Branca. As if far post, and hanging in the air was Zamorano. And that should be no trouble, and indeed isn't for Mazzantini, the half-time replacement for Gianluca Pagliuca. Well, there hardly really seems a lot of point, does there, at 89 minutes and 40 seconds in a friendly game to bringing on a substitute. But as we said, competition is so rife, you only get a split second to impress. And maybe this is a substitute's chance. Injury time we are into at the end of the second half. And given away, are we going to get one more exciting piece of play? No, we're not, because he was offside. There was Recoba, or Zamorano rather. And that wagging feature, another feature, wagging finger rather, another feature of his game, often seen. And the final whistle goes then in Palermo, and the sides exit the field. They're greeted by the warm applause of a very appreciative audience who've seen an extremely entertaining game. And Simeone interviewed before he goes off the field, and you didn't quite see it actually at half-time, but Ronaldo was literally mobbed by anything with a tape recorder as he made his way to the tunnel. So, successful night, Inter lead by, or win by 3-0 rather. We've seen it all tonight, really. Ronaldo for 15 minutes with a wonderful goal, followed by Fresi's volley just before half-time, and also Taribo West with a third goal just inside the second half. And here we go, goal of the day perhaps. It just gets better every time you watch it. Such a big star, and destined only to become bigger. And this incident was the point where he actually injured himself. We don't know the seriousness of the injury, but he seemed to just stub his toe, or stub his boot, and completely miss his kick. And off the field he went to be replaced by Ivan Zamorano. And waving to the crowd, a real superstar. Now this was another tremendous goal. Right foot, left foot, and bang, right into the top corner. Fresi doesn't score many. When he does, he's going to find when he looks back on his career, they probably won't come much better than that. This was the Djorkaeff bit of cheek, which he paid fully for. Oh, but it was a friendly after all. He was looking embarrassed now then, and it certainly wasn't Charbonnier. Great piece of upper body agility at the time as he was sat on the floor. And lastly, Taribo West with a fabulous finish. That's all we got time for from Palermo. Stay tuned though, because after Sports Centre, a great programme. World Cup legends, the Dutch team of the 70s. From me, Tim Capel, a very good night to you all.
E mi torna ancora in mente l'avvocato Brisco. Lui diceva che la Serie A è il nostro